Hello. First words are of a deep and total thanks to our wonderful, gracious host, Russell Connor.
Here.
And Adele. Adele, where are you? Adele, who were kind enough to offer this wonderful old New York apartment to us for the party, which also doubles, as you can see, as Russell's studio. Russell's a wonderful painter, very, very funny man, and we're here to celebrate the reissue of her very, very wonderful book by Beacon. It's been called one of the most important books of the 20th century by Voice of America. And it is indeed a very important and a very beautiful book, a beautiful and uplifting book. And anybody, it's changed thousands and thousands of people's lives and continues to do so. It's taught all over America in public schools, and she gets hundreds and hundreds of emails from children, teenagers who read it, whose lives are never the same. And it's a great, great book. Rena, who I sadly never met myself, once said to Heather that Heather had turned her tears into words.
Heather was so kind to invite Carol and me to join you this evening. I'm thrilled to be here, and asked me if I'd say a few words about women and the Holocaust. And I'm overwhelmed, not sure what to say, except that women were undifferentiated from men. They suffered in different ways and so on. But what you have done in the book is really the way to approach the subject. When we hear the numbers of the Holocaust, millions of people, millions of women, millions of children, I think it doesn't really say very much. We are incapable of comprehending those numbers. They don't mean anything, they're abstract. But the real stories are of individual women. I think the iconic figure when we think of women is Anne Frank. Everybody knows the name Anne Frank. You've brought to the world's attention other names that are not known. And I think the only thing to say is that it's not about women, it's about each woman, about each human being. And you've brought us a story about two of those women, and that focuses our attention on what the story is. Each person is a human being. And I think that's the only thought I want to bring. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. But, so, here, let me put you right there. So, Lydia Merrick's mother was on the first transport with Rena. Your mother's number was?
1741.
1741. Rena was 1716. So, Lydia Merrick's mother was on the first transport with Rena. Your mother's number was?
1741.
1741. Rena was 1716. So Robert is here as a representative of Rena, who is the author of Rena's Promise, and then we have Sarah and Norman Brendel and Cohen, Sarah Cohen, who you have to, yeah, okay, and they're Donka's children. Donka was 2779. She arrived on 2 days after the first transport. The first transport left on the 25th from Poprad, Slovakia, and arrived 24 hours later in Oswiecim, in Auschwitz. And this is today. So 73 years ago, the women arrived. And there are 998, not 999, thanks to my research. There was a typo. But the other thing that, that I would like to mention here is that the first death occurs tomorrow, and the second death occurs the next day. So we do not know how many of these young women died, but we do know. Magda was 16 years old, and Olga, they were cousins. They were on the first transport. We don't know their numbers. And Adela Gross, who I've met her family, Adela Gross, Rena watched be selected. So we know what happened to Adela. But the family didn't find out for 70 years. And they found out when they were accidentally reading Rena's Promise. But today, we are here to celebrate these families and this book and the grandchildren, Jenna, Zach, Who else do we have? Come here, all the grandchildren get up here. What I want to do is get a picture of everybody up here, please. Look at this. This is survival. And some of you have never met each other before. It's just amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to your mothers for surviving.
So please join in for those who know Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash me'rabah v'yamati v'rakirute v'nif malchute v'tayevon v'v'nevon v'tayevon Beit Yisrael v'yagalah v'zman kari v'imru amen Yesh me'rabah v'varach v'yom v'yamaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudusha b'richud Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram v'yalma v'imru amen Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom v'imrumav Uyaseh shalom Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru